Have you ever had a conversation where, after just 10 minutes, you felt completely drained? On the flip side, have you ever spent hours with someone and felt more energized and at peace than when you started? Where does that difference come from? Is it just because they speak kindly or have a good personality? Actually, underneath it all lies a strange and powerful psychological mechanism that most people go through life without ever noticing. We often describe emotionally comfortable people as nice or gentle, but that's a misconception. These people aren't pushovers. In fact, they're often the most solid, perhaps even selfishly centered people you'll ever meet. Today, I'm going to expose the true identity of these comfortable people you've been misunderstanding. And by the end of this, you might look in the mirror and ask yourself a slightly uncomfortable question. Am I a sanctuary for others, or just more noise? Let's start by deconstructing that strange pressure we feel when meeting someone. Most people, when interacting, are subconsciously preparing for evaluation. How do I look? How should I fill this awkward silence? What if they find me boring? These thoughts spin thousands of circuits in the brain, burning up energy. But for emotionally comfortable people, these circuits are switched off. They aren't evaluating you. To be more precise, they've already spent all their energy taking care of themselves, so they have nothing left to demand from you. They are like an empty room. Whether you go into that room and scream, cry, or just sit still, the room just stays there. This leads us to our first shocking truth. Comfort doesn't come from kindness, it comes from a lack of expectation. They don't expect you to be particularly impressive, and they don't need you to manage their mood. That absence of a void, that lack of need, is what we experience as freedom. In psychology, there's a concept called emotional dumping. It's what happens when we can't handle our own anxiety and project it onto someone else. Behind the words, "I had such a hard day," is often the unspoken pressure, "so make me feel better." But emotionally comfortable people have an independent processing unit for their own feelings. When they feel sadness or anger, they don't throw it at others to fix it. They simply sit beside the emotion. From a neuroscience perspective, their amygdala isn't overreacting. They have high emotional homeostasis. Even if a storm is raging around them, their inner state is like a still lake. And when we are near them, our brain's mirror neurons begin to copy that stillness. Because they aren't shaking, we stop shaking. That is the true nature of the comfort we feel. What's interesting is that these people often have very clear boundaries. Many mistake a comfortable person for someone who can't say no, but it's actually the opposite. An emotionally comfortable person knows their limits exactly. They'll say, "I can help you up to this point, but no further," with total calm. And that rejection doesn't feel offensive. Why? Because it's free of emotional aggression or excessive guilt. They don't feel bad about protecting their space. Why is this so important? Because when you're certain that the other person can say no at any time, you can finally take off your mask. You don't have to worry about making them uncomfortable. Because they're honest, you can be honest. It's a peace created by a very healthy kind of egoism. Think about your chat windows. There are people you feel anxious about if you don't reply immediately, and then there are those you can get back to days later without a second thought. Emotionally comfortable people are usually the latter. They don't crave instant reactions. One of the greatest illnesses of modern life is this obsession with responsiveness. The pressure to answer immediately whenever someone calls or texts keeps us in a state of emotional hunger. But these people aren't afraid of silence. If the conversation dies down, they don't babble nonsense just to fill the void. They don't interpret silence as awkwardness, they see it as being together. This creates an incredible sense of weight. Someone you can be silent with, we instinctively know that's the hardest kind of person to find. They also don't try to hide their deficiencies. In fact, they might toss them out as lighthearted jokes. They have no hesitation saying things like, "I'm not good at that," or "I felt pretty embarrassed then." Psychology calls this the power of vulnerability. Around someone trying to be perfect, we feel the pressure to be perfect too. But around someone who comfortably shows their flaws, we finally feel like we can breathe. They don't wear their scars as a badge of honor, nor do they hide them as shameful secrets. They just acknowledge that they're there. This attitude sends a powerful signal to everyone around them. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be imperfect. You won't die. Now let's go deeper. The most chilling characteristic of emotionally comfortable people is the way they listen. Most people listen while calculating what to say next. Should I give advice? Should I empathize? Should I share my own experience? But a truly comfortable person just listens. They don't try to solve your problems, because the moment they try to fix you, a power dynamic of helper and helped is established. They simply act as a mirror so you can hear your own voice. Even if you pour out a messy, disorganized story, they accept the whole situation with a simple, "I see." That energy of acceptance is more powerful at healing the soul than any logical advice. Modern society constantly pressures us to upgrade. It whispers that we need a better job, a better face, a more sophisticated way of speaking. In such a world, remaining an emotionally comfortable person is a form of quiet revolution. They're not swayed by the world's pace. They don't lose their minds over news of someone making a fortune in stocks or crypto, nor do they fall into self-loathing while looking at the glamorous lives on social media. This is because their standard for happiness is engineered internally, not externally. They get enough dopamine from the temperature of their morning coffee, a nameless flower on the road, or a quick joke with a friend. This low threshold for satisfaction is their secret to being invincible. Since they don't need much, they have nothing to lose, and with nothing to lose, there is nothing to fear. Ultimately, being an emotionally comfortable person means you've made peace with yourself. It's someone who has embraced their ugly parts, their petty thoughts, and their past regrets and simply said, well, this is me. Only someone who has stopped fighting themselves can stop fighting the world. The comfort we feel from someone is actually just the byproduct of the peace relationship they have with themselves leaking out. What about you? Is your inner world currently at war, or are you in the middle of a peace treaty? If there's someone in your life who makes you feel at ease, think about how much internal trash they are cleaning up on their own for you, and allow yourself to rest in that grateful peace for a while. We are all connected, but whether that connection feels like a shackle or a seatbelt depends on how comfortable we feel with ourselves. Don't strive to be a good person for others. That often becomes toxic. Instead, become a comfortable person for yourself. When you can finally stand being with you, the world won't just tolerate you, it will enjoy you. Tonight, I hope you can tell yourself, you did well today. It's okay not to be perfect. That small bit of permission might just turn you into an oasis in the desert for someone else. If you found today's insight about emotional comfort helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden mechanisms of the human mind. Share this with someone who makes you feel at peace, or maybe someone who needs to hear this today. Your support helps me keep uncovering the truths that make us who we are. Until next time, stay curious and keep looking inward. The world is a loud place, but you don't have to be. Stay grounded, you beautiful, complex, wired human.